so this has just been my experience reporting this mushroom to my government, and specifically Health Canada, and even specifically the most important, the branch that deals with these type of things. It's not really been a good experience. It's been quite horrible. So I reported this situation to the Canadian government, and I made my report the first month through their website, and it was many months until they contacted me back, which I expected. I didn't. I just figured, okay, it's the government, right? You're gonna have to wait a while, and I waited. So I had someone phone me and ask me how I was doing, and I told them that I wasn't doing very well at all. And I had an email from that person, and then silence. And then 1 year went by, and so I thought they were investigating that after someone had phoned me. So 1 year went by. I emailed them again. Then they replied that they were investigating. And I emailed them several times, and even in my initial reports, I emailed them back telling them that I still have my bag, and I asked them if they could test it, but I got no reply. So it's very, very confusing and unusual to me, this whole situation, because like, I still haven't gotten my bag tested, and I'll explain more about that. So basically, first of all, I included in my report each time the stories of other people's suffering. So I included links, the amount of physicians and medications I've tried, as well as I mentioned the group that I created with over 1,700 members. I mean, you would think this would kind of pique some interest at the government, and to potentially, see whether this is potentially contaminant, or what have you, right? We really have to rule things out. So yeah, my bag still has not been tested to this day, and I'll explain that. So I figured, okay, the government clearly doesn't want to help me test it, so kind of makes me believe you could literally sell anything in a bag, in a supplement bag. You put any type of poison in it. You have to remember too, for 2 months after I stopped taking this, I was throwing up multiple times during the day, for 2 months straight. So it was pretty horrible. But you have to remember, yeah. So sorry, my train of thought is all over the place. But basically, government's clearly not interested in testing it. So I looked at some labs. I was looking for labs in Canada, reached out to a bunch of labs, and test they only test with like companies that produce supplements. I found a lab in the US that will test the bag, but I'm thinking to myself, okay, do I send the bag over to the United States to get it tested? And then if the results come back, like, it's just, I don't know, like, I was hoping, that the government would be interested in doing this, but it's been over a year and a half, and nobody from the government has even asked me for the bag, to test the powder for contaminants, or what have you. So this is such a weird situation. So I still have the bag, and I guess at the end of the day, if the government's not going to help me, I'm going to have to go with a lab. Couldn't really find any in Canada. If you know of any in Canada, just reach out to me. I found one in the US, so I'm probably gonna have to send it there. Um, it's so unfortunate, right? But yeah. So what do I do? Basically, I explained that already. But yeah, that's my experience with the government of Canada and Health Canada. So yeah, just be aware, if you take a supplement, you get extremely sick from it. One, people will not believe you, which I found in my case, and two, um, if you have your bottle of pills or you have your bag, nobody's going to be interested in, or the government will not be interested in testing it, despite how many physicians you tell them you've seen, and how many tests you've done, and how many other people have been suffering. Excuse me, my laughter. It's just truly unbelievable what the response was, that they just didn't seem interested. So yeah, and again, if you'd like to help me, I put this at the end of every video. So yeah, that's my experience with the Canadian government and reporting lion's mane mushroom.